finally, we have our last guest. I was about to say final guest. Another form of artist, as we mentioned earlier, in the form of Eriye Onarogoruwa.
Yes.
Great to have you on the show.
Great to have you.
She is a creative writer, lawyer, financial literacy expert, and the author of our book for the week, Dear Alaere. Like, I was trying to figure out why at some point in the book you kept talking about the mother-in-law that calls her Alaere. And I was like, okay, Alaere. And I was like, isn't that the way it's supposed to be pronounced? But that name, Alaere, what does it mean though?
So, first of all, good morning. Thank you for having me on your show. Alaere means a woman of dignity. We refer to it in Ijaw language like a queen, a woman of substance. That's what Alaere is. Yes.
Okay, so this book, before we go into the book, tell me about your background into writing. Why did you decide to start writing?
I started writing from a very, very young age. I think when I was about 8 or so.
8?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So I actually have like an unpublished manuscript. I write for some of the newspapers. I write articles for the newspaper. So I've always written. Actually wrote Dear Alaere when I was, I would say, stuck in a rut. You know how it is. You wake up in the morning, you go to the office and you're thinking, I can do better than this. You know, it was just, nothing seemed to be happening, and I turned inwards rather than complaining. I said, you know, what do I like doing? And then Dear Alaere was born, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Wow. So do you have any other published books?
No, but I'm working on another one. Yes.
Reading Dear Alaere, I'm actually really interested in reading the next book, but let's not go too far. Now, the first thing I observed about this book is the Chimamanda effect in it. I'll tell you what I mean by Chimamanda effect. So she has this gift of descriptiveness. She can describe this room to life in your mind. And you were able to do that in many cases. So I'm just wondering, is she an influence for you?
I like her. I like what she stands for. To be honest, I've never read any of her books.
That's shocking. That's hard to believe. That's really hard to believe.
I've read a few of her short stories online, but I've never read any of her books. But wow. I know that a lot of people say that the description in Dear Alaere is out of this world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, people believe there's a story behind every story. Before you decided to write this, there would definitely have been something that informed your decision to write this book. What was it?
So one of the things I noticed was I've never read any book that talks about office politics. I've never seen any book that chronicles just the daily mundane life people have to go through, especially in a city like Lagos. I've never seen any book that really, really tries to put together a work-life balance story. So in fact, when I was writing it, I think I was a bit discouraged because I kept saying, but why are you writing this? Like, nobody has ever written about office politics. You know, I was writing and I'm thinking, but nobody has done this. I've never seen this. But I just decided, you know what, go ahead. And I drew inspiration from, I think it was Toni Morrison who said, you know, if you want to write a book you've never seen, you know, go ahead and write what you've never seen. So that was that.
It's very impressive. So you chronicled the experience of a woman who, of course, as you said, going through life, the mundane experiences in life. But then, of course, a woman who, the table is turned. It's a man who is infertile, yet she's still tolerating the insults and all. And it just makes me curious. Have you met someone who went through this?
To be honest, I haven't. I didn't actually set out to write that. But when I was writing, I said, how about we flip tables a bit here and, you know, change the story narrative? Everybody always sees the lady as the problem. So I said to myself, how about I take it from another perspective? And that's how that came to be.
We will continue this conversation, but first we need to take this break. We'll be right back. Eriye Onarogoruwa is on today, and we're talking about her book, Dear Alaere. And it's not Alaere, because that's what I thought throughout the book until I had to ask for clarification. And now, I need to ask you something else because breakfast is ready. But I need to just ask you, I know you were born in Canada and you were raised in Nigeria. And of course, that means you've been able to experience both societies. With all you were able to pull off here, it sounds more like somebody who has a very good experience of the local life here. So if you were to make a comparison between the Nigerian society and the Canadian society on average, what would you say about both of them?
I would say the Canadian society, people just almost like take it for granted that you're expected to live a life according to laws, rules and regulation. It's a very, I always say, in my mind, Canada is like America without the crime. Very cynic, very laid back. Citizens just expect that, you know, you wake up in the morning and everything is clockwork. There are things that are supposed to be normal, and it's almost like it's taken for granted. I actually find also that Canadians are extremely friendly. And when I say extremely friendly, you can actually have a total stranger, like, you know, walk up to you, you need something, go out of his way to, you know, take care of you. That's the typical Canadian society. And if you look at the Nigerian society, I also think Nigerians are very caring as well. I also think that we can go out of our way. I mean, you stay in a neighborhood, and Nigerians want to know, some of them anyways, want to know what's happening to you, what's happening to your next door neighbor. The stark difference, of course, is our the way we view laws. Generally, we just don't think laws are made for us. Generally, people don't, I mean, we don't have a problem with laws. We don't have a problem with policies. We have a problem with following them through. We have a problem with implementation. So that's the stark difference between the Canadian system and the Nigerian system.
Okay. I'm not quite sure what we are having for breakfast is a Canadian meal, but we'll tell whether there's the Nigerian infusion in it.
Okay.
And you can tell us what the difference might be. Please come with me.
Thank you.